My name is Natasha Gaspard, and I am the Executive Vice President of Communications and Media for the Natural Hairstyle and Braid Coalition, aka the NHBC. And we are here today to talk to you about an exciting book event that's coming up this Wednesday, September 18th in Brooklyn, New York, with one of our favorite people, Dr. Afiya Mbilishaka of Psychohairapy. As we wanted to come on here and do a special live because we want people to know how amazing this event is going to be. First of all, Psychohairapy is coming to Brooklyn, New York. Hello, that is exciting news. New York, New York. And so, you know, the NHBC, we're definitely based in New York State and are doing a lot of advocacy work around natural hair care and licensing and education and legislation and stuff like that. And you know, we definitely talk about the connection between our beauty and our health, right? And our health is a holistic view of our health. So that is the connection between our mind, our body, and our spirit. And so this was a wonderful partnership. And so I'm glad that you are having the opportunity to, or bringing the opportunity for the folks in New York to come and hear about this new book that you wrote. And I want you to introduce the book and let people know. Okay, all right, copy. Yes. Tell us about Lay to the Side. Tell us all about it.
Okay,
It's a beautiful cover.
Thank you. But I definitely want to give shout outs to New Yorkers. You know, I'm from New York. I'm from the
Yes.
suburbs, but I'm a New Yorker too. And so Brooklyn has always been, to me, a natural hair and braid capital of the world. To me, in
It is.
terms
Well,
of
listen.
being able to take the train and go and get my hair braided was like a special thing. Even in my adulthood, I still go to Brooklyn now to get braids. So I don't know if anybody wants to debate me whether or not Brooklyn is a braid capital, but I think it is. So I feel like this is the ideal place then to have a conversation about sort of the politics of our appearance, and especially negotiating our identities, our hair, our mental health, and our education. So lay to the side. Um,
I love it. I
the
love it.
full title, Disrupting the Silence of Black Girls' Hair Stories in School. So this book is a special anthology of hair stories of Black women who all different professionals shared experiences of their school memories where hair was a big factor in how they felt, how they learned, how they healed. And so in August of 2021, I developed something called the Psychohairapy Writing Sesh, which was a collective writing group. And every week we would have writing prompts and we would have synchronous and asynchronous writing sessions. And I remember one particular synchronous writing session, I gave the prompt, what is your earliest memory of your hair? And so we took our 20 minutes to write, and everybody stayed on the Zoom and we wrote together. And so there's always an opportunity to share the writing. And at this particular session, writing session, everyone wanted to share. And in the sharing, people were extremely emotional. People cried, people laughed hysterically. There was so much emotions. And so I'm like, there is something here that it's so emotionally evocative just to think about these early hair memories, that there must be something here. And so I started still being silly and comparing it to the vagina monologues, that I'm like, this is like the hair monologues, because each person had this unique view. And a lot of them were in school in terms of thinking about from kindergarten, first grade, second grade, all the way through college, these really self-defining moments that they can recall in such vivid detail. Who was there, what was said, what their hair looked like. And so using this as a space to have people sort of resurrect their own memories around hair and how that impacts them today. So this is the intention. It's an anthology, but it also has questions about reflections in terms of literally asking people in the book to think about certain episodes, to unpack, to dissect the things that they've been through. Because as a scholar who studies earliest memories, that those earliest memories shape how we view the world forever. And sometimes we have to challenge those memories, but also share them to get feedback and reflect and see how unique or even universal they are. So I did a lot of talking, but this book is just a beautiful experience for educators, for teachers, for Black girls, and others to visit these special moments. Since we don't oftentimes have space to talk about Black hair, mental health, school, identity, like there's not a forum for that. So this is what the book does.
That's what the book does. That is amazing. So tell us a little bit about the event that's happening on the 18th. So it's this Wednesday, the 18th, from 5:30 to 8, right? And it's with our wonderful partners, the New York BD Suites, which I can talk about a little later. But tell us, what can people expect at this event?
Ooh. Okay, I don't know if people should bring tissues or not, but I feel like there's going to be some emotions. As some of the book talks that we've had in other locations, like in DC or Philly, there have been some tears, and it's surprising. People are surprised that that emotion is there, but it's like stored up in different parts of their body, and so it's a good opportunity to
Mhm.
release. There's always laughing. There's always
Yeah.
that. My chapter is particularly silly and funny. I think that that's just the energy that I wanted to approach this conversation. That not everything's sad or stressful, but one that it's like, why did I do that? And looking back now as an adult, my story is about the second grade, so clearly a very long time ago. But people can expect to build community. So
Yeah.
I have to share, and I don't know if anybody on here has been following me, but I went to Usher's concert a couple of weeks ago.
I saw all about it. Yes, I was in those stories. Go ahead.
Yeah, I could not control myself. Like I was screaming, shaking, all these different things. But there's something about having that in-person experience. Like, of course, Instagram Live is amazing. I love coming on here and having conversations, especially with
Yeah.
you. But there was something about being in that shared space and everybody having like these good intentions. It's not like people were folded like, I hate Usher. Like people were like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
So it was electric. And so
Mm.
I think the same thing could potentially happen in Brooklyn, where people who want to talk about hair and Black womanhood and Black girlhood and mental health and identity and education all coming together in the same place, it's going to be electrical and magnetic then too. And so I
Absolutely.
realized being in this digital world that I've been able to cope with like being on social media or Zooms, but I have to admit, and
Right.
you could challenge me because I think I'm better in person than the virtual world. And like that's just in terms of
Mm.
the connection, the energy, the hugs.
Yeah.
And so I think that there's something really beautiful that happens when people come together
Yeah.
and want to have a good time. So Beautypreneur Mixer, I'm there. I think you all should be too. So
I think so too. And I agree with you. And I think, I was just talking to someone, actually, Dr. Ayo Sakai. I was talking to her about this, and she was
yeah.
like, there's something about being in person. I was like, yeah, I know. But it's not, I think, especially in this day and age, I think we can embrace all of it, right? Because there are people right now who I probably won't meet, who live in another country who won't have the opportunity to come on the 18th,
Yeah.
right? I'm so
Both.
sorry. But,
Both. Yeah.
bring us to South Africa because we'll come.
That's one of
And
my
so,
favorite places on the planet.
ooh, I haven't been to South Africa. I've been to Ghana. I haven't been to South Africa yet, but I would love to go. I'm definitely gonna go. But yeah, I do understand, and I thank you for cultivating all types of spaces, right?
Yeah.
Because you do have the psychotherapy certification, which we'll talk about in a second, that people can win at the event. But you have to be in person to get it. But the certification is online, and you do both. You do online
Mhm.
certifications, and I think you're bringing back in-person
Mhm.
certifications. And so yeah, I love the fact that we get to there's more options now, right? But
Yep.
for sure, I think what you said about the Usher concert, I was thinking when you were talking that people were coming with their heart chakras open, You know what I mean?
Mine
They
was.
were coming. They was coming to give love and appreciation for this man who has given them this beautiful gift of music, right? That transcends, race, gender, class, age, time, and space, right? And I think that, that's why I was so excited when you said you were coming to Brooklyn. I said, let's definitely partner on this event, because the Beautypreneur Mixer is just for that. It's to open up the community to other resources and people and conversations that will enrich their profession, right? And so, as we know, natural hairstylists, and if you take the certification course, you're going to learn all about the history of the connection between the hairstylist and the client, which blew me away. And I felt like, aha, it was like a light bulb moment that went off, because my work has always been to highlight the professional's voice in the space, and learning about the connection that was forged generations ago on the continent of Africa. It made sense. It made so much sense. And so, this conversation, or these conversations that we'll be having, because a lot of the authors will be there in attendance in New York. So we get to hear a little bit. Will there be like some book readings? Will people be reading?
There has to be. There has to
yes.
be. Yeah.
Yes.
I'll send the updated run of show so we can make sure
Okay.
people know when they're supposed to do their. I think that's even part of the New York energy too, to have like readings and these things to have that. It's a vibe. It's gonna be
It's
a
a
vibe.
vibe. It's
So
a vibe. So
we gotta shout out the King of Lock. I see it out. Thank you for the invitation to speak at NYU on Thursday. I'm very excited to come.
that's
I think
amazing.
this will be our first panel. We've met and virtually connected, but it will be cool to be on the same panel. So I'm very
Oh,
excited.
I RSVP'd for the Zoom because I'm not
Okay.
able to come in person, but I would love to be there in person. Trust me. But I'm glad that there's a Zoom option.
Yeah.
You see, so I'm like virtual and in person at the same time. So this event is again Wednesday, September 18th. And guess what, guys? There's options. If you want to attend, it is a free admission to come. We want people to come, and we want you to connect. We want you to come with your hearts open. We want you to come ready to share your stories and listen to stories, because you're going to connect with the stories. We have shared stories here. There might be different nuances, right? But there is a thread that runs through, and to be seen and to feel heard is something that, that is the intention of this event, right? We want to highlight our stories, because for so long our stories haven't been told. We haven't gathered in a lot of places to tell our stories and to share our experience and to feel validated that our experience actually happened and it mattered, right? It shaped who we are, and we can use now this knowledge to shape a different future for the generation. That's why I love this book, because it's for kids, and you said it's about children's
Of
experiences,
all
but
ages.
we could use it for all ages. So I think you said also children 16. So have children been coming to these events as well?
Some. I'm mindful.
Okay.
I'm mindful just in terms of I want to make sure that these events are more accessible.
Yeah.
Not too late, right? Not past people's bedtimes. But
Okay.
the book is for a range of ages. I think some of the events we've definitely had kids, and some of the events have been totally adults, which is interesting because people are able to again access their inner child, that they are able to recall these deeply embedded memories that are self-defining, just like I was transported back to being a 14-year-old girl at the Usher concert.
Yeah.
I think reading this book, we do time traveling. Like our brains actually cannot distinguish time. We live in three different time zones: the
Yes.
past, the present, and the anticipated future. And I feel like a book like this, especially in reading other people's stories, we get reminded of what we've been through. I love reading autobiographies. That's one of my favorite genres of books because it gives perspective on how people problem solve. But okay, there are people writing in the chat. We gotta
Yes,
respond to all these things they're
I
saying.
know. I just sent the link. So if anyone wants to RSVP, the link is in my bio. The link is in Dr. Afiya's bio. The link is in the NHBC's bio as well. And I put it here, and it's also at the top of the
Oh,
description of this live. So it
there's
is,
you. I didn't even
yes, a
know.
bit.ly link laid to the side BK. We tried to make it easy for people to
Yeah.
remember. Yes. And you want to read the Professor Wendy's comment there? You
Okay,
didn't see
I gotta
it?
scroll. I'm still up to loving Elegance and Focus magazine, loving to cover the event. How do we get
Oh,
them
I
to
didn't.
cover
Okay,
it?
I missed that one. Okay, yes. Well, RSVP because it's a free event. RSVP, come.
It's at New York Beauty Suites, 495 Flatbush Avenue.
That's right.
Um,
That's right. The King of
so
Lock says he's coming. I can't wait to see you. Let's see. Hi, Lavetta of Locknificent Fest. So Professor Wendy said she hates to miss, but looking forward to part 2. Meanwhile, she's sending copies of the book to co-founders of a new Crown Club at a high school in Alabama. That is
wow.
amazing.
Thank you. And thank you to Professor Wendy. You know you've literally have written so much on this topic. And
Yeah.
so it kind of translates some of the academic work. So I've always been an academic writer. As a professor, we're taught to publish in peer-reviewed journal articles and write academic books with all this research. And so I took a little twist, literally, on this and said, let me tell my story. This is
Yes.
actually the only literature that exists that I've written about me
Ah,
and published it. Otherwise, I'm talking about participants in a study or something in the news media, interpreting or analyzing someone else. And
yeah.
so this is so much more intimate because I'm actually telling all my business and my idiosyncrasies and like my psyche around hair. And so that's what makes this a little bit different, that
Uh-huh.
it's actually my
Well,
stories.
I love that. I love that. And oh my God, this is perfect because Dr. Fia, let me just tell you something. I have been meeting so many people with PhDs in all types of different fields, right? And I always say, like, you guys are doing the work, you're researching, you're writing, but how much of this information is actually broken down for the public to understand, right? And so that I think this event is doing that, right? That's one. And then two, in the mental health field, I'm like, how often is it that therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, all the things share their own story and how they fit into this narrative as well, because it always seems like there's this separation of like, okay, I am here and everybody else is here. So I love the fact that you said that. So go ahead.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's the thing, for psychologists, we're trained to be impartial, objective, but that doesn't exist. It's a false reality. And so, of course, we're not supposed to take up our client space. Like if someone says
Yeah.
that, that happened to me too. That's not how therapy works. That we're supposed
Yeah.
to say, oh yeah, my mom that too. But
Yeah.
but it can sort of remove some of our humanity when we don't get to tell our stories. And so there's something in therapy where we do disclosures.
Mhm.
Oftentimes, if a client is discussing something that I can relate to significantly, or if I interpret would be beneficial for them to know about me, then I'll do a
Mhm.
self-disclosure. And so it goes into that same piece where if I'm going to talk all this hair discrimination literature, if I'm going to testify for the Crown Act, but then I don't actually tell any of my hair stories or what I've had to navigate in school, then
Yeah.
it makes me a little bit inauthentic
Yeah.
because, or guarded. And so
Mhm.
I'm mindful about how I told my story. But it influences the way that I do my work. And so I think by people reading my personal hair stories, they'll say, "Oh, I get why she's
Yes.
like this," and it's an
Yes.
important topic. So my story is actually embarrassing, but I think that it's important to read embarrassing stories about me and hair.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. I love this. If you guys want to hear Dr. Afia's story, you're gonna have to come to the event or buy the book. You could do both, right? And so there is an option for folks if they want to purchase the book in advance as a ticket. They can get a signed copy of the book as well as some swag. So again, all that information is in the bio, is in the link in the bio, and it's also at the top of this description. It's bit.ly laid to the side BK. So again, it is at New York Beauty Suites, 495 Flatbush Avenue. It's at the Common Grounds Marketplace. So it's right next door to the Brooklyn Commons, right? And it's going to be an intimate, nice space. It's going to be a safe space because we're talking about our childhood experiences. People are going to be reading from the book. I'm going to be moderating the 2-panel discussions. So we'll be having a conversation, and a deep conversation, because I've been thinking about this. I've been in this field for a long time, and I'm also certified in psychotherapy. If y'all didn't know, twice.
I think 2 times. I was about to say 2 times.
2 times. I loved it so much. I took it twice, and I will take it again, because every cohort is different, right? With different people, different experiences, different instructors. And so I learned so much more in the second, right? I learned so much more about myself, and it really informed my work. So that's why, I posted this event, this IG live on LinkedIn as well, because it's not just for hair care professionals, right? We think that we're just talking to hairstylists and barbers, and we definitely are talking to them, right? But really, this affects every single person, no matter what industry you find yourself in. And I think that that's why it's so important for us to really unpack this conversation, to see how it really affects us in our everyday lives, right? We have young Black girls and women in all types of fields, right? Nursing, engineering, academia. But that story, you know what I mean? Our childhood stories, our experiences around our hair and politics and all the things. How does that affect us, right? And how can we now build a new future for the next generation? I love that you're using this in schools. I love that Dr. Wendy is sending this to schools. If anybody else is interested in partnering with Dr. Afiya and Laid to the Side, send her. I'm telling her how to get in contact with you. Send a DM, or go to psychohairapy.org and contact her, because we are the ones, as an advocate, right? I tell everybody. I just had this conversation at Self Care Sundays at New York Beauty Suites. Everyone is an advocate. You might not think that you are, but if there's something that you're passionate about, and you're speaking to more than yourself, you are an advocate. You are an advocate. So definitely take that power and move forward with it, right? Buy this book for someone who has a child. Buy it for yourself. You know what I mean? Yeah, you might pen your own book after. It might inspire you to write your own book around your own story. And we need to hear more of these stories. Absolutely. I see some comments. Let me go in the comments. I got my glasses, so I got to look at my next phone here. Let's see. Erin says, the book has also been added to the cosmetology school libraries for the students. Really? That is amazing, Erin.
I'm gonna give her a shout out. I think she might have beat you in the number of times of getting certified. I think she might be 3 times.
Who's this?
I think you did it because there was an original asynchronous one, and then I think she came to a virtual one, and then came to another. I think she might have 3 certifications.
Who's that, Erin?
Yeah.
I'm coming for you, Erin. I'm coming.
And then I told her this in an email, but I have to say it publicly. This is on the record.
Yeah.
I think she's been the co-author that's been going the hardest on this book. I think she's in terms of doing the most events, putting it in people's hands. Literally, I have footage on my phone of her walking up to people and shoving it in their hands. So I think
Erin.
She has been an excellent ambassador. Yeah. So the book actually has so many contributing authors. So so Dr. Daniela Pugo, who's a co-editor with me, she has her PhD in education, and so she studied early childhood education. So that's why she really made significant contributions as an educator in this book. And then, I'm a clinical psychologist. Other authors are like Gia Lowe, who wrote the foreword, who founded Curl Fest. And then other contributing authors include Dr. Brittany Miles, who has her PhD in sociology, and her whole dissertation was on Black women's beauty and how they talk about it and process it and go to festivals and write about it and take pictures and what makes them feel the most beautiful. So her research is super interesting.
Amazing.
Another great scholar, Dr. Yeli
Ooh,
Ichile, she is
yes.
actually a historian of African history, and
Mm,
so leads African American Studies Department. So it's really interesting to hear what her stories look like and feel like, considering her background and training.
yeah.
Other scholars like Professor Whitney Harris, who is a professor of broadcast journalism. So she
Ooh,
actually has been on the news and has been a news anchor, and what she had to navigate in terms of what was professional hair, right?
mm-hmm.
And wanting to have natural hair and locks, but actually forced to wear wigs at work, and just how she had to figure that out. And that's where her research focused on. And then
Mm-hmm.
there is, I'm trying to go in order of the chapters. Then there is Faith Armstrong, who
Yes.
is she's a cosmetologist, but also the head of global, I think, education for Mazzani,
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm.
under L'Oreal. And so just her role as like a, in with content creation and hair education, telling her story. There is, I really try to go in order. Then it's me, then Jamie. Then is Synia. She is a therapist. So she's actually a doctoral student now, but had been a therapist for years from New York, and just telling her experiences of navigating hair as a therapist
Yes.
during her, her childhood.
Mm-hmm.
Then there is another future doctor, Sherika. She is at what school? SUNY something. Getting her PhD in
Yeah.
psychology. It's late. Our eyes are getting
It's
all
all
heavy.
right. It's all
But
good.
also trained in psychology. There is
I know there's
oh,
Cameron.
yeah, Cameron. So she studies higher education,
Ooh.
and so to even think about it in that level,
Mm-hmm.
there is Kanisha Rowe, who has her
Yes.
PhD in higher education. She's now at Georgetown
Mm-hmm.
University, and just navigating her locks. And people literally thought she was going through like a psychotic episode when she decided to grow locks. It's an interesting story
Yeah.
with that, and just such rich narratives.
I
um
love it.
and of course, the one, the only Erin, who contributes, and as a cosmetologist and a master stylist, going into her lineage, almost, not only her family but her hair lineage of the
Mm,
great stylist of her community, and telling
yeah.
these stories. So, okay, global marketing. Thank you for that. She
And
just got
Erin,
the new title like this week. So
okay. We love Faith. I hope to see her there. I know she's in Philly, I think, but I hope she can travel to New York to come. And Erin will be there. She's also the executive vice president of education development at the Natural Hairstyle and Braid Coalition. So, you know, this stuff runs deep. As you
I
would,
forgot Amber.
oh,
And
oh,
Amber,
Ambar, yes.
sorry, I said it. But oh my gosh,
Yeah,
her chapter
yeah.
feels metaphysical.
Ooh,
And I'm not trying to pick any favorites in this book,
yeah.
but reading hers, it's like so many different levels of consciousness and
Ooh,
self-awareness that I didn't even think about for my hair story. She actually deepened my understanding of hair by how she narrated it in a less chronological order, but more of a thematic. It's almost poetic the way she wrote
mm.
her chapter. So I'm hoping
Ah,
she gets to read some of it live. I want all of it recorded and to make it an audiobook too.
okay,
But
good.
her chapter is like very moving.
That would be amazing. Well, I mean, listen, you just teased everybody up on here. Everybody, listen, if you are in New York, okay, if you're in the tri-state area, okay, come down to Brooklyn to New York Beauty Suites this Wednesday, September 18th, from 5:30 to 8. You're going to hear snippets from these stories. You're going to actually meet the authors. You're going to meet Dr. Afiya in person. You're going to hear some of these conversations. I love metaphysical, so we're going to take it here. We're going to take it everywhere, okay? Huh. Because I'm here for these types of conversations. I'm here for all the intersections. Okay, I'm here for all of it. And then on top of that, so this is the drum roll. So one lucky person will be entered to have an opportunity to win a free psychotherapy certification course. Okay? Yes. These courses are very coveted, let me tell you. All right? No, they are. They are. They are. They come, I know on your website you have the upcoming certifications for the rest of the year. I don't know if there's that many left.
I know I need to add 2025 schedule.
Okay. Okay. So one lucky person will be able to win a free psychotherapy certification, and I'm telling you, it's going to enhance your life. It's going to take your life to the next level. It's going to enhance your work. It's going to answer a lot of questions that you might have had around just being a human being on this planet, right, with this hair, and giving you a different perspective. And I think that thank you, Dr. Afiya, again for bringing this to fruition, right? Bringing your dream to fruition, even the whole idea around psychotherapy of how it came about. And we'll talk about that at the event because I don't want the live to be that long. We want to save something for the show, right?
It's an appetizer. We don't want people to get full, right?
Right. We just give you a little taste, a little appetizer, right? So just thank you for the work that you're doing. Thank you for highlighting all of these amazing folks, right? Because there are so many people that are doing the work. We were on the Trauma, Tresses, and Truth conference a few weeks ago, and I'm still blown away by the amount of people who are researching and writing and studying about this topic, right? And the research, all of this stuff is important for us to move legislation forward, like the Crown Act, to move legislation forward, like the Natural Hairstyle and Braiding License, to move new legislation, all types of things that, and I think it's important for us to realize that we are all in this together, right? We're all in this together. Our work is important. Our work matters. Even if the broader society doesn't understand, as long as we stay true to ourselves, we will move mountains. We will move mountains together. So I'm going to let you say any last words. But again, the link is in the bio. It's a free event. Tell your friends, tell your family, come down, enjoy some refreshments, some light bites, some conversation. And yeah, let's vibe together. Let's vibe together Wednesday. All right, go ahead, Dr. Fee. You have the last word.
Yeah. I'm just so grateful for you. I don't know if people recognize the amount of emotional labor, physical labor that you engage, intellectual labor that you engage in on a daily basis to stay on the case, to uplift the race. Like, you have really dedicated your life to this work, to education, to archiving these experiences through your media work, to really sharing the news of our community. So I want to give a special shout out to you. And so I'm so excited that we get to collaborate on this very special free event for the community to come and engage in some narrative therapy around hair.
Thank you so much, Dr. Fee. I really, really appreciate it. Yes, Diane DaCosta, the event is free, so let the people know. And let's see. Shout out to Natasha. Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. I really do. This work really fills me. It really fills me up. Sometimes it is a little taxing. It is a little taxing. And I do take a lot of breaks. You know what I'm saying? But I love to do it. I love to do it. And I love to really expand our minds around these topics. So this is definitely one of the events that's going to do that. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you again, Dr. Afiya. I can't wait to see you on Wednesday. Get the Laid to the Side book. What's the website for the book? Is it laidtotheside.com?
Laidtotheside.com. Yep.
Laidtotheside.com. Anybody wants to buy a copy, if you're not coming to the event, go to laidtotheside.com. If you are coming to the event and you want a signed copy, go to the link in our bio. You can buy that ticket. If you just want to come to the event and listen and connect, you can do that too. Tell a friend. We'll see you on Wednesday. All right? In Brooklyn. Have a great night, everybody. We love you.